Hey YouTube, it's Budget Bugout, and today I'm going to be talking about the 5 best budget knives on the market that are $15 or less. So I've done other videos where I talked about the best knives that are $30 or less and the best ones that are $20 or less. Well, if you don't even want to spend that much money, if you just want to spend around $15, these are the knives to get. I haven't really seen too many videos where talks about beater knives, and the cool thing about beater knives is that you can beat on them, you can thrash them about, you can ruin the edges, and then you'll just buy a new one, or you'll just use these knives as a backup to save the blade on your primary pocket knife if you're that kind of person that might have more than one on them. For example, you could keep this in maybe like the 5th pocket of your jeans and keep one of these clipped to the pocket. Have this on your keychain and this on your hip. Maybe not all at the same time, but these are some good knives to have, just in case you're not wanting to spend more on a knife for whatever reason, but you still want to have good quality. So let's go ahead and go over the specs on each one of these, and I'll tell you about what I like about them, and I'll leave links for all of these products in the description box down below. Just check them out if you want to see more information. I'll show you where to find them on Amazon.com. So the first knife is from Victorinox. This is known as the Victorinox SD. So this is the classic Swiss Army knife that you've seen in different stores out there. Keep this clip to your keychain. This makes a great backup knife for sure. The blade length on this is going to be, by the way, you got to be careful whenever you're dealing with knives. You don't want to cut yourself. So disclaimer to everyone out there, especially you minors out there, please be careful when you handle knives, when you deal with them. I've been cut enough times to know when I should handle them, when I shouldn't mishandle them, and I'm in the military, so I have free medical benefits, so that's another benefit. So be sure that you guys are being careful. Anyways, the blade length on this is 1.5 inches. The weight is 0.8 ounces. The steel is just simply stainless steel. I don't know if you can read that. It just says stainless steel. But the lockup on this is what's known as a slip joint, so there's no locking mechanism to disengage. So don't bear down on this knife. If you're bearing down on this knife, it could close and cut your finger. So be careful with this. This product is made in Switzerland. It is a Swiss Army knife. It's an authentic Swiss Army knife. The handle is made out of plastic, and the grind on the pen knife is going to just be a full flat grind. If you know more information about the grind, be sure to let me know, because I'm more or less assuming that it's a full flat grind. I don't think it's a hollow grind, but let me know if you guys know more information on that. I'm always trying to learn. And then the other things that are in here, of course you have your tweezers and your toothpick, and then the other things you can pull out is a nail file with a small flathead. And of course, one of the most used things that I use this knife for is for cutting strings off of my uniform. So it's got some scissors with it as well. So this is, like I said, the Swiss Army knife known as the Victorinox SD. Next knife is from Opinel. This is known as the number 6. And one of the cool things I like about this is that this has a carbon blade. Now you can get the stainless or you can get the carbon one. But the cool thing about carbon is that if you have magnesium, fire starter is what it's referred to, and you can take that magnesium, or ferrocerium I should say, so you take that ferro rod and then you can scrape quickly using the 90-degree angle on this the back of the tang, the back of the spine of the knife I should say, and you can shower whatever your tinder bundle with sparks, and you can start a fire that way. So I think that's pretty cool. So you gotta make sure that you're locking this up when you do that. So let's go ahead and go over the features on this knife. The blade length is let's see here, 2.9 inches. The weight on it is only 1 ounce, so this is very lightweight. The steel is carbon, as you can see, as I already said. The lockup, so you can lock it up when it's closed by just pulling this over. And this is pretty easy to do, but you just push it over to the left and you can lock it up while it's closed. Maybe you have kids or whatever and you don't want them getting into your knives. I myself do not, but so I try to leave it unlocked as much as possible. But like I said, just be careful. And whenever it is locked, you can move it either to the left or to the right, depending on if you're left or right-handed. This would be good. That's just kind of an interesting feature, regardless of what your preferences are for carrying this. Let's see here. Other things to note is that this is made out of beechwood, the handle material, and the blade grind is convex grind, which I thought was pretty interesting. But sure enough, as I looked at this blade, this is a convex edge. So just like the Swiss Army knife before it, this has no secondary bezel. This is all one edge. So that might make this a little bit harder to sharpen, but that's a cool thing about these types of knives, is that because of their price, it makes them more expendable, and you can beat on them a little bit more and not worry so much. Let's see here. The next one is known as the CRKT Squid, and this was designed by I wrote it down here, Lucas Burnley, and I've actually met the man at the Last Shot show, and so be sure to check out my video on that. I'll link that below if you guys want to see more information on the designer of this, see him in action, because he's designed this and other cool blades. But I think this one is going to be the next big knife for this category, for around $15. Now I will say that the other knives were $9 and $11 respectively, and this one, when I bought it, I think it was just a little over $15. And then it increased in price. When I just checked on Amazon, it was $19. So this is increasing, so maybe this will be bumped to a new category pretty soon. So buy it now before it goes up anymore, because this knife is becoming pretty popular. I think it's going to rival the Ontario Rat Model 2 at some point, which is one of my absolute favorite budget pocket knives. So anyways, let's talk about this a little bit more. The blade length is 2.25 inches. The weight on this is 3.3 ounces, just because it's made out of metal. And let's see here, the steel on it is 8 CR13 MOV, which is actually good quality steel. It's going to be better quality than the previous two blades. The lockup on this is what's known as a frame lock. So just like the name implies, the frame of the knife or the handle is the locking mechanism that needs to be disengaged to close it. The country of origin is China, although it's designed by CRKT, which is an American company. It is put together and manufactured in China. So just keep that in mind if that's something that that's a preference that you have. And the handle is a stainless steel. The grind is same as the last one. It's a hollow grind. I'm trying to see if I can get a good way of y'all to see that. So it's a hollow grind. So if you guys want to know more information on this, like I said, just be sure to either check out the links below for Amazon, or my other video where I meet Lucas Burnley, and maybe I'll see him at SHOT Show this year. You never know. Next item is also made in China. This is the last item that's made in China. This is the Sanrenmu 710. Now this. Unlike the last one, this company itself is Chinese. You can actually see Chinese characters above the logo, and it's kind of controversial in the knife community because it's more or less an exact carbon copy of one of the more popular, expensive knives on the market, which is known as the Sebenza, particularly the Sebenza Small. So it doesn't have good feedback from a lot of the knife snobs out there, just because of because of those that kind of because it's getting bad press out there amongst the knife community. But if you're just looking for a knife to put in your pocket and you don't care anything else, you just want something that works, this could be a good knife for you. So the blade length is 2.8 inches. The weight is 3.17 ounces. The steel is the same as the last one. It's 8 CR13 MOV, which makes sense. It's a Chinese steel, although it's a very good quality for the price especially. The lockup is also going to be frame lock, and I should also mention that the pocket clip is tip down only, and this one is going to be tip up only if you clip it to your pocket. And then the handle itself, just like the last one, is made out of stainless steel, and the grind, same as the last one, is going to be a hollow grind. But I will say that I was very surprised by this knife on how smooth it is, buttery smooth, and I've actually been cut by this knife because it closes a lot faster than I thought it would have, just because of how smooth it is. And you can adjust the pivot on this. So a little thing that I wanted to mention is that yes, those are made in China, and I understand for those of y'all who like American knives, but there are some American knives out there that are actually even pricier than the Chinese ones, and are not nearly as good. In fact, some of them are kind of dangerous, like this Buck, what is it called, Bantam, because, well, as y'all saw, the tension and the pivot here is inconsistent. There's no way to adjust the pivot, and look at the handle on here. I don't know if you can see. I don't know if you can see it rocking back and forth. Just trying to see a good way of seeing that. But you can also see how the plastic easily bends here. Now, I'm not saying that Buck knives are bad. In fact, some of the best knives on the market are made from Buck, and I own some of them. I actually wanted this knife to be good, but it just kind of goes to show you some things that I don't like on other cheap knives, even though this one's pricier than any of these. Those types of the frustrations are actually kind of common in cheap knives. Where it's hard to open, it's not smooth, and the handles are cheap, and where it meets the pivot is kind of cheap. And in my opinion, that makes these knives kind of dangerous. So I can see why people have a bad taste in their mouth when it comes to pocket knives, just because they're not used to buying something that's quality, and they don't want to spend a lot of money. So what they have purchased is something kind of a cheap, kind of dangerous device or tool that they decided not to carry anymore. And I think that's part of the reason why pocket knives aren't as prevalent as they could be, is because so many cheap knives that are not worth purchasing or using, in my opinion. So let's go ahead and move on to the next product. As you can see, it is from Gerber. This is known as the Gerber Grylls Folding Sheath Knife, and that is the official title. This is a serrated edge version, and they have a non-serrated edge. So let's go over some of these features. And before I do this, I really like the feel of this knife. The look of it, I mean, it looks kind of cool, I guess. I mean, it's easy to see in the woods, with the orange. I like the preference of it, because I'm a member of the knife community, I guess. I just don't like Gerber products as much as other manufacturers, because they just get a bad name because they're always trying to I don't want to say cut corners whenever they manufacture knives, but that's kind of the reputation they have. They were once really good, and they're everywhere. Granted, they're in all sorts of stores. These and Swiss Army knives you'll find everywhere. But I just feel like they've actively try to improve their image and bring back some of their manufacturing to the United States, which is what you see with this knife. So I want to give Gerber a second chance here. And one of the first knives that I own is from Gerber, so they do have a special place in my heart. I'm sure, just like a lot of y'all do. Anyways, let's go ahead and go over some of the specs on this. The blade length is going to be 3.6 inches long. The weight on this is 4.3 ounces. The steel is Gerber's mystery stainless steel. We don't know what it's made out of exactly. The lockup is back lock, so you simply press down on this to disengage the lock. It raises. It's good to use two hands whenever closing this. There is a way that you can close one hand, just be very careful. I know I'm using two hands because it's hard to do it through the viewfinder. But yeah, so you can use a thumb stud, and then use the flick of the wrist to open. But one of the cool things about this, don't try this at home, kids. Maybe I shouldn't be trying it here because I don't really have enough room to do this here. But I'm trying to do it. There we go. You can use a gravity. You can use the gravity method to open it. So I think it's an interesting way to open knives. I always like to open knives that way if I can. But anyways, don't try it at home if you're a kid. Obviously, just another disclaimer. But the grip on this, the handles are they're rubberized plastic, molded rubber. Very, very comfortable. I mean, you can thrash this about in the woods, and you'll have a good grip on it the whole time. But yeah, this is made in the USA. The sheath is made in China, and I think China had something to do. I'm sure they had a part to play in some of the manufacturing or assembly of this knife, but Gerber says it is made in the USA. And I do like the sheath on this, I will say. I mean, it has a good form, and for the price, the belt loop right here seems to be good quality. Like I said, it is made in China. Inside are Gerber Grylls' priority of survival. Just slipped right here. I mean, you could this little elastic piece in the back. You can put something else back there too if you wanted to. But yeah, in here, Gerber Grylls and his team, I'm sure, assembled all these different ways of what to do if you're ever in a survival situation. And you can see that in a lot of his products. But yeah, the knife itself I actually really like. I wish that Gerber didn't have such a bad, I don't want to say bad name, but I wish knife snobs embraced Gerber a little bit more, including myself, just because I really like this knife, and I feel like people are gonna slam me because I like a product from a company that isn't as embraced as some of the other manufacturers out there. But yeah, this is these are going to be 5 of what I consider to be the best budget knives on the market, especially for the price. Like I said, you can check out the links in the description box down below if you want to find more information about these on Amazon. But anyways, guys, let me know if you have any questions or what your favorite knife is, $15 or less. Make sure that it's not, kind of a chintzy knife. For example, this is made by SOL, and their locking mechanism doesn't always engage whenever I open it. You can see just then. Make sure that it's actually a good quality knife if you're going to talk about it, if you're going to suggest it. I try to always make sure that my products, even if they're budget, like this one is $30. This is the Kershaw Emerson CQC 6K. Although right now I think I need to adjust that pivot because for some reason it's getting stuck. This is a good knife. The Ontario Rat 2 for $20 is a good knife. And these ones for their price range they're all great knives. So just be sure you do your research before you purchase them. And like I said, if you have any questions on these, let me know down in the comment section down below. Y'all stay safe out there, and remember, it pays to be prepared. God bless. Hey YouTube, it's Budget Bugout. Today's video is going to be on what I consider to be the top 10 flashlights on the market.